Delicate and regal, they inspired her like nothing else she grew. Not that she was anyone's idea of a master gardener. Friends who'd known her before she'd moved here would have been shocked to learn that she no longer killed everything she planted. She had at first, when she'd taken up the solitary pastime, as she and Brian awaited the arrival of their second-born. Over the years, gardening had become a much-needed escape, and it was the roses that had first befriended her. They spent most of their lives as prickly, ruthlessly pruned vines twisting around the wooden trellis Brian had built, a jumble of leaves and thorns, little more than overgrown weeds. But when it was a rose's turn to thrive, its beauty reigned supreme. Sam's bloomed twice a year, including in January. She cradled one of the hardy flowers. It was a splash of deep crimson, a promise against her palm that Sam could handle heading back inside in a few minutes. That she could handle anything, as long as she kept growing and thriving and leaning on the unconditional support of her family. Being indoors made her feel trapped sometimes, even in her own home, and there'd be kids and teachers swarming around her later at school. She'd want to run, literally. But when the panic came, today she would stay. Today was the fresh start she and the people she loved deserved. Her and Brian's long-ago move from Manhattan was supposed to have been their do-over. Her husband's bright blue eyes and devilish grin flashed through her mind. She felt again the exhilaration of being in his arms last night, and practically every night of their 15-year marriage. She thought of each thumbs-up of encouragement he'd given her since she'd decided this New Year's Eve to make today happen. He'd been so proud that she felt strong enough to try again. She thought of Cade, her eldest son, who'd barely been a toddler when they'd first arrived on Mimosa Lane, and his surprise that she wouldn't simply be sending in her gourmet brownies to Chandler Elementary's PTA bake sale. She was delivering them herself and staying to sell them to his classmates. Today, Cade would see that she was there for him. Her sixth grader wouldn't head to junior high school next year without her ever having made it through a single school function. Thank goodness their school district was pilot testing a shorter middle school model where kids stayed in elementary for an extra year, with junior high truncated into 2 years spent on the high school campus. Without the extra time, Cade would have already graduated from Chandler, and likely wouldn't have wanted Sam volunteering at the high school at all, even if she'd been up to it. Cade, her sensitive boy, her writer. He felt everything and watched every move people made. And more than anyone else, he watched Sam, forever aware and worried and waiting for her to need him and his dad's help in desperate ways that no mother should. "Mom?" a young voice asked, making her jump, though she shouldn't have been surprised to find him waiting on the patio. She turned slowly. Her smile was a believable motherly facade. "Hey, buddy," she said to her 11-year-old, who was blonde and blue-eyed and already lanky just like his father. Cade was sprawled in the wooden swing next to the house. "What are you doing up this early?" "Couldn't sleep. I figured I'd wait for you to come back." She woke up halfway through most nights, and everyone in the house knew that outside felt better than inside when she couldn't shut her thoughts off. So they left her to her wandering when she needed to, as if it were no big deal. But Cade always seemed to sense when she was having a particularly difficult time. She sat on the swing's dark green cushions and curled him into the half-hug that he still let her steal every now and again. All-out smothering mothering was no longer cool with her almost teenager, even at home. And on the few occasions when she went along as the boys and Brian did things with friends and neighbors, Cade insisted on an affection-free zone in the community. He was such a big guy. Soon he might shy away completely from even these private moments. The little boy things she and Brian had treasured with him were fading so fast, making room for who he'd become. Are you going to be okay?
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.